Can somebody explain me how French women look so effortless and not cakey when they are wearing makeup?
Today I just want to focus on skin. Let's see how a French makeup artist will do it. She doesn't use foundation, she goes for a concealer. And the process is straightforward. It's pretty much the bags, a little bit here where normally there's a lot of colors going on, and then correction. So I have some pimples here that I will cover. In comparison before, I will tap it, I kind of keep it in place, but this is not what's happening here. Here it's more about stretching the product. So it will not only stay in place, but they will try to cover a little bit more of the area. But there's a very little amount of products. There's a very little coverage. Something that I found interesting is that the color that they use is very similar to their skin tone. You can even use some of the residue that you have here and go all over the place, just a tiny bit that you can barely notice, to be honest. This will be the difference of social media makeup. It is lighter and there's more product, and this is what I meant with a little bit more concentrated, so it looks less natural. However, after showing this method, I got a very interesting comment on YouTube. This only works if you have even skin already. And she does have a point. French women are very famous for caring a lot about skincare. There's definitely a big skincare component, plus a lifestyle component, like the fact that a lot of Europeans walk more than we probably do in the USA, just because of the structure of the city. Personal individual diets, genetics, diseases. I mean, the list will go on what we do or don't have any particular skin condition. However, I would like you to keep in mind that makeup fixes color. It doesn't fix the texture. It doesn't matter how skilled you are with makeup. If you have acne, you will definitely be able to cover the redness and play around with colors, but you won't be really able to make it disappear completely. It might look like that on camera, but it won't be like that in real life. And when I mean camera, the fact that we're seeing it in 2D and the fact that sometimes we use filters as well. With that in mind, there's a couple things that you can do. I believe that when we see that effortless French makeup, it's important to see what they don't really do. And they don't do this. They don't do a lot of product. This foundation is not even thick. This is kind of like a very light foundation, but I'm putting a lot of product in it. And if you will see the difference, this will look more like a mask, and this will look more natural with different tones and color, different pinks. I mean, obviously it's not perfect. Like, I still have some redness. I'm just being human. And that's part of the sexiness of the effortless. It's like we're keeping the human part on, but we're also enhancing little things that we like about ourselves, more than making big transformations. But what can you do if you want more coverage? But dude, sometimes we need a little bit of more coverage, girl. I have very sensitive skin and my skin hates this. But let's keep going. My favorite way to do this is with tinted sunscreen. I hate every tinted sunscreen in the market except this one. It has some decent coverage, but it feels like skincare. There's a lot of them that feel dry. They're really hard to blend. And dude, I'm not 20. I need it to be a little bit dewy and not matte. Whatever area I want to make it matte, I can use powder. And of course, I'm protecting my skin, so this is great. Plus, it's sweet when you go to the gym and you have this on. You look like you have really good skin, but you're not actually wearing makeup. Don't worry, I will leave you the product in the caption. So what's happening now is that you still have different tones coming through. It doesn't look like the mask effect, that it's like a canvas that you got rid of every single detail that you had in your skin, but you have a little bit of more even tones. So now, going with their technique, because this sunscreen won't fix like the little pimple that you have, you will need concealer. This will make things easier for you visually, especially if you're in that transition period. Like, you're like me, you used to wear a lot of makeup and now like, oh, what about if I try something a little bit more natural, different? But what if you want a little bit more coverage? This is what I use every day. But if I'm a little bit tired, I will do a little bit of a mix. If I see that my eye bags are being a little bit of a rebel, I will go for a little bit of thicker concealer, but still will use very little amount. This particular concealer, I like it because it feels more like a serum, but it has a little bit more coverage. I will really try to actually spread it out and use really as little as you can. This thing should last you for a long time. So this definitely has way more coverage, and we're losing a little bit of that natural thin, but it is an option for a day that you really feel you need that extra boost. Okay, I'm gonna take this off again. Okay, we got clean skin that it's angry. The next option, it's a tinted moisturizer. This particular tinted moisturizer feels a lot like foundation. Even though that you can be a little bit more generous, because still at the end of the day, it's moisturizer, it does give you more coverage than maybe just the sunscreen. I particularly enjoy more the sunscreen look, but this, it's very nice for every day as well. This one in particular is really affordable actually, or at least the last time I got it. Again, this feels a little bit more like makeup than skincare, even though that is a tinted moisturizer. I want to clarify something. I use heavy foundation for more than 10 years, and you can see me in many videos putting a lot of makeup on my face. I'm not sure what really happened, but one day I woke up and was like super interested about really effortless makeup. Maybe the Awesome Twins have something to do with this. But I know that when you're using a lot of foundation, to use very little foundation feels so damn weird, because you're like, and what am I gonna do with all the redness I have here? A redness that honestly, now that I've been using less makeup, it doesn't really make sense to cover per se, because then when you add like the blush and the bronzer, like all those things are gonna be even less obvious. But it is a transition, and I lived it, and I know it's freaking weird. So if you're like, girl, I need my foundation, I want the effortless look, get a grip. This is what I did. First, I stopped using very heavy foundations. I went for something a little bit lighter, looking for terms like luminous and radiant instead of like full coverage. I'm gonna leave you this one in the caption, description, wherever you're looking at this. Instead of going in and applying it like kind of crazy all over my face, I will actually put it in my hand. That probably was a little bit too much, but what I will do is that I will prime the brush, meaning I will really get it in there, make it really painted and not so much on my face. And then I will actually go on my skin very softly, to be honest, because I will like to use as much as I can. Just as a quick tip, if you have a heavy foundation, you can put a little bit of it and put a moisturizer, and then you will have a lighter foundation too. But a lot has to do with how handy you are with the product, how much product are you actually using, and if you're putting it or not directly on your skin. Even though that obviously there is some coverage and you can see it in the middle, it is so much lighter than the coverage that I showed you before, which you really look like a mask. And I think that this simple makeup that we're labeling as French makeup, it's really more like movie makeup. It's kind of makeup that you will that you probably see every day on the street, and it looks pretty natural. It's not so focused on contouring and camera angles, more about enhancing your skin. I think that this is so much prettier than something so heavy. This foundation is not particularly affordable, but it's really beautiful. I've been using it for years. I mean, if you get really close, you can still see some of my freckles, a tiny bit, and you kind of want to show that. You want to kind of show your personality, your uniqueness, or at least with this particular trend. Of course, one night you want to be a baddie and you do your thing, girl. Now I'm actually gonna do my makeup. I'll be right back. This is the final look. If you're curious about it, I have a full video on French makeup and I will link it below. If you enjoy minimalistic makeup, make sure to subscribe. Okay, love you, bye!